Boilermaker fans, welcome back to the Purdue Report with Jake Dunn. Here today mostly to talk about basketball after Purdue's exhibition game against Kentucky. We will also talk a little football, I'm sure. Welcome back, Jake. It's officially Boilermaker basketball season.
Best time of the year, in my opinion. Winter is my favorite season because it's basketball season, and I love snow. So winter is the perfect season in my eyes.
All right, let's look at Purdue's exhibition game at Kentucky. A 78-65 loss. Jake, does it shake any of your faith in the Boilermakers?
I'd be lying if I said no, but it's not by enough to really get me concerned. I think especially early, Purdue got a lot of pretty good looks. They just didn't hit them, and I think that's something that's not going to happen every game. I think Purdue's going to be able to make most of the shots, make most of those looks that are given to them. This is kind of exactly what Matt Painter wanted. He wanted this test, a real atmosphere, an SEC road crowd, and really wanted to kind of get some humility early. We saw in the 2024 when Purdue went to the Final Four. They lost to Arkansas on an exhibition, and Arkansas fans, that might have been one of the biggest highlights of their basketball history for
That's
Arkansas.
Right.
But they rushed the court and all that. It was their Super Bowl, and they ended up going. They ended up being 16-17, I believe, that year. So not a very good year for them. So my point is, these exhibition games don't really matter, especially at least for Purdue anyway. Purdue
That's right.
Purdue doesn't
and
treat this like a regular season game.
Of course, we'd be talking about how much it mattered.
Purdue went from three. They were 3 of 17. Obviously, we know Purdue is a much better shooting team than that. This game wasn't about being number one in October. Matt Painter said it. I think other coaches have said it too. It doesn't really matter what you're ranked to start the season. It's what you're ranked to end the season is what matters. So again, Purdue didn't treat this like a regular season game. I think Kentucky probably did, if I had to guess. So yeah, I'm not too worried.
Here's my assessment of why they weren't very good. Trey Kaufman-Renn missed shots he almost always makes. Braden Smith missed shots he almost always makes. Fletcher Lawyer missed shots he almost always makes. And Oscar Clough looked lost, and that will not be the case a couple weeks from now.
I would completely agree. I think there was probably 4 or 5 shots that Trey Kaufman-Renn missed that I thought he's going to make that 89 out of 100 times. I'm not too worried about him. I think we knew this defense. It's improved from last year, but still have some issues there against athletes like Kentucky has, elite athletes. So dribble containment is going to be a big key or a big issue for this team. And Kentucky just got too many paint touches and transition looks. So I think that's something Purdue's definitely going to focus on here. I had a lot of long misses on threes. And obviously that's hard for big men to rebound those. So it's on the guards to really kind of crash the glass there. And again, something that I think that it's not going to happen every.
The glaring weakness I saw, and it was the only one, was Kentucky got way too many easy, uncontested baskets at the rim.
I think some scouting, which I'm sure they probably did a tiny bit of scouting, but again, it wasn't nothing like what a regular season game would be. So I think if this was a regular season game, I still think Kentucky might have won, given all the rest of the circumstances how the game played out. But I think it'd definitely be a little closer than what it was if Purdue was running their full offensive sets. I think they ran some pretty basic stuff. And same thing on defense. Obviously there was a little bit of a game plan, but not a true one like we'd see in a regular season game. So they'll make Kentucky, definitely deserve to win. They definitely played better. But I think if it was a regular season game, it'd be a little closer than what we saw on Friday night.
So what did we learn about the rotation, Jake? We know 3 of the starters, and they're going to be full-time starters. Nothing is going to change that. That's, of course, Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn, and Fletcher Lawyer. The other 2 starters were Oscar Clough and C.J. Cox. Quickly off the bench were Daniel Jacobson and Jakari Harris, Omer Mayer too as well. And then also getting minutes, Jack Benter, Antoine West, and Liam Murphy. Benter got almost 10 minutes, which surprised me a little. What do you think we learned about rotations, Jake?
I think Purdue and Matt Painter were just trying to kind of mix and match out there, just trying to see what sticks, trying to get some minutes, trying to see what chemistry there is. There were times where both Braden Smith and TKR were on the bench together. I have a feeling it's probably not going to happen during the regular season, at least in conference play, unless it's like the end of the game. But Omer Meyer and Braden Smith also shared the floor at the same time when in practice that they haven't really done a lot of that. So again, I think that's something stuff that is going to be a little more ironed out in the end. Like Antoine West, I kind of think he has to redshirt. I don't really see a path for him to play at all. I know he's a fairly good defender, but I just don't really see any way that he sees valuable minutes on the floor. So I would think that he has to redshirt. But ultimately, that's something he'll have to come to his own conclusion there about that and make his own decision. It was good to mix and match, but this isn't the team that or the rotations that we'll see in the regular season. So I like Braden Smith, for example, only played 32 minutes. When these games start to count, he's not going to be sitting very, very much.
To be fair, same thing for Kentucky. Actually, Kentucky played its bench even more. They played 10 guys about even minutes. So besides Aberdeen, the rest of the team all played about 20 minutes. So to me, it looks like you're going to have an 8-man rotation, at least to start the season, with the starters, Harris, Mayer, and Jacobson. And those guys could be starters too. We have no idea who, but between those 8, that's where the starters look like they're going to come from, with Jack Benter being the next piece if needed.
I was a little surprised to see Liam Murphy not get as much playing time. I wasn't sure if that was more of a skill thing, or I know he was injured, earlier in the year or earlier in the off season. So I don't know if that was an injury thing, just trying to protect him, or if it was more of a Jack Benter's just been better and is getting more minutes than him type of thing. So being interested to see how that. Yeah, we obviously know that Liam Murphy's a really good shooter. Outside of that, I haven't watched enough tape on him to really kind of see what else he's good at. But he's a really good shooter. Obviously, Jack Benter is as well. And I think Jack definitely has more game to him than Liam Murphy from what I've read. But was surprised to see Jack Benter get more minutes than him.
So we'll find out a little bit more tonight, actually in just a couple hours, Jake, as Purdue hosts UIndy at 7:00. I like these kind of exhibition games where they're smaller local programs. UIndy, great program. I like that UIndy gets a shot at Purdue. And then it's a week until the season gets going. What do you want to see tonight, Jake?
I guess just want to see more out of some of the guys you mentioned, like Jack Benter, Antoine West. This will be kind of his last opportunity to really show something here of that kind of proves that he shouldn't redshirt. So looking forward to seeing kind of how he plays. Same thing with guys like Oscar Clough and Omer Meyer. We saw a little bit from him, but not a ton, not really much to get you excited about. So obviously it'll be at home, be a completely different environment than what they played in against Kentucky. So it'll be that's kind of what I'm looking forward to seeing some of those guys that either didn't get a ton of minutes or weren't very productive in their minutes, seeing how they kind of rebound here at home.
My final thoughts, I guess, Jake, on the exhibition is that I saw some things that were problems that are exactly Matt Painter's wheelhouse of solving, and he's going to solve them pretty quickly. By the time they face Alabama on November 3rd, they should be all fixed, and that should be a heck of a good test. I will say I'm a little more concerned about that trip to Alabama now than I was.
I think rightfully so. Alabama and a lot of these SEC teams are going to have really good athletes. It's really kind of the one thing that Purdue's missing is you lost Cam Heide and Miles Colvin, who are your two best athletes on the team. You uh, didn't really replace any didn't replace them with really any athletes. So that's kind of the one thing that Purdue's lacking on this team. So yeah, gives me a little bit of concern, but I still think it's still the best team in the country, and I'll think that until proven otherwise. So maybe the Alabama game will be the turning point for me there.
Can't wait to see how it all unfolds. November is going to be a great month. I love November, man. It's the beginning of winter. You're starting to get basketball games, and while you're also watching football games. But man, November's great, isn't it, Jake?
Especially when your team, you have a good basketball team and a good football team. Unfortunately, Purdue cannot say that this year. But hoping that Barry Odom can get the football team to a place where we can be excited about both heading into November.
Hey, let's talk a little football. Jake, one of the few interesting things left going into the final four games of the season is, can Purdue be competitive in any of them? And what's going to happen at quarterback? I like to see what Malachi Singleton can do. He provides a different kind of look, but is it time to just kind of see what we have in Singleton?
Yeah, I think so. There's not really much upside, in my opinion, to play Ryan Brown anymore. I feel like you've already got enough tape on him to really know what you have in him. If you think he's the guy, might as well try to get him healthy. I know that shoulder was probably still bothering him in the game against Rutgers. I think it's time to see kind of whether it's quarterback, really any position, kind of see what you have in the cupboard there on the bench and starting to get ready for next year and really assessing your needs. And obviously with the money aspect of it, trying to decide, okay, we kind of need to overspend in this position to make our team better. I think it's time to kind of see, because we're not going to beat Ohio State, we're not going to beat Indiana, probably not going to beat Michigan, probably not going to be Washington. So all your winnable games are behind you now. I don't really see a point in playing guys a ton of minutes like Brown or even Mockabee. I know he's not coming back next year, but still don't see a ton of, if he has pro aspirations, definitely don't see much value in playing him, especially with him getting banged up here against Rutgers. So yeah, I think it's all fully
and
looking ahead to next season.
Especially how good Malachi Thomas and Antonio Harris have looked at times.
For sure. So might as well get them some good film and again see what they're made of.
Of course, Jake and I will be previewing the Michigan game at the Big House on Friday, and then we'll be reacting to the game on Sunday morning sometime, probably maybe even Sunday afternoon, because that's a late game and there's a ton going on this weekend, and sometimes that's what we do, is we react the next day. But either way, we will react to the Purdue-Michigan game. And, last year, Jake, they gave us a couple of surprises. The Illinois game comes to mind, where they were surprisingly competitive. Maybe the Michigan game's one of them.
Certainly not out of the realm of possibilities. Do I think it'll happen? No, but anything is possible. Any team can beat anybody on any given Saturday. So certainly possible. So I know the Illinois game was a little different with Ryan Walters coming from Illinois. So he was obviously very familiar with their system and offense. But yeah, I mean, Michigan is a team that can definitely get a really good freshman quarterback. Maybe he has his kind of a bad game here against Purdue, kind of fall asleep and forget about the Boilers.
They've been very inconsistent, and he's been very inconsistent. So there is some hope there. By the way, Jake, first college football game I ever went to, I believe, was 1985. Rod Woodson played for Purdue. Jim Harbaugh played for Michigan. And Rod Woodson was amazing. He blocked a kick. He had an interception that set up the only touchdown for Purdue. And a 55-10 loss to the Wolverines. It goes way back.
That might be a pretty good score for Saturday.
Yeah, it might be a pretty good prediction. Those Jim Harbaugh Michigan teams were special, man. Jake, thank you so much for your time. Again, Jake and I will be back on Friday to preview the Michigan game and then on Sunday to react to it. We are not going to react to the UIndy game. We got the World Series going on. We've got too much happening, and the game's on Big Ten Plus. I probably won't see it until replay. But starting with the season opener against Evansville, we will start recapping and reacting to the men's basketball games. Jake, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Boiler up.
Boiler up. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susan.